Yo, what's up, guys? What's happening, YouTube? What's good with you guys? Um, gonna play a little catch up tonight. All right. I wasn't able to go live for any of the events this weekend. All right, so we're just gonna catch up on the fights from Saturday and today as well. All right, and then just gonna play a little catch up. And then go right back into breakdowns. All right. Not this weekend, but next weekend, we have Regis Prograis against Jose Cepeda. Be on the lookout for a breakdown for that fight. That'll be my next breakdown video. I actually just did the Zach Parker, John Ryder breakdown the other day. So make sure you check that out. That is also going to be on the 26th of November, along with Regis Prograis and Jose Cepeda. Um, please subscribe to the channel. All right. If if this is your first time watching one of my videos, please subscribe to the channel. All right. Hit that bell notification so you'll be notified whenever I drop new content. And please share the video if you can. Smash that like button on your way in. Shout out to everyone that's here. Rockin' Andretti is in the building. Rest in peace to Andy Rumble Johnson. Yes, we're gonna start this video out with him. Shout out to my man Charles Edward Cheese, man. That's my guy right there. He knows what's up, man. Shout out to my man Charles Edward Cheese, man, my biggest supporter of the channel. And shout out to my man Josh here, a longtime supporter of the channel as well. Josh says, "Salute Wave. Hope you're enjoying the nice place, the new place." I am, and I'm looking forward. I'm expecting some new stuff tomorrow, a new setup, and you'll see it soon. All right, um, man. There's so there's so much I want to talk about, man. Tonight, I'm gonna get to the fights. I'm gonna get to Floyd. I'm gonna get to Ricky Hatton and Marco Antonio Barrera. I'm gonna get to Tommy Fury. I'm gonna get to Joshua and Love and Janibek. I'm gonna get to all of that. It's so much. What's up, Orgasmatron? Yeah, Charles, I see you. Oh man, it's so much to talk about tonight, but I wanted to really start this video with Anthony Rumble Johnson, all right, who passed away. We were told today that he passed away from organ failure. He had Hodgkin's lymphoma, okay, which is the cause of his organ failure. All right, it's kind of like a rare cancer. Okay, I was reading up a little bit on it earlier today when I found the news and heard about the news. And oh man, let me tell you, man. Yo, this is why, when I heard, because I believe he was 38 years old. All right. And I'm not as much of an MMA guy anymore. If old school Boxingwave supporters know, I used to do videos on MMA. All right. And I've stopped because I wanted to prioritize boxing. Because when you're covering both sports and you don't have, if you don't have the amount of time that a lot of other channels have, you just don't have time to cover in detail both sports. So I'm more of a casual MMA fan these days. I watch some fights here and there. I did see the majority of the fight last night, the Adesanya fight last night. But yo, Anthony Rumble Johnson passed away at 38 years old. All right, rest in peace to Anthony Rumble Johnson. And one thing that I can't stand, what really hurts me in life, is when someone passes away way too young. All right. Whatever the cause is, whether they were murdered, whether they get hit by a car, is from an illness or disease, it really messes up my vibe, because it's like I watched this guy. I used to watch his fights. And I remember my favorite moment of his is when he stopped Alexander Gustafsson in the first round. All right. Um, at that time, it was such a big deal because John Jones went to life or death with Alexander Gustafsson. All right. Gustafsson, before that, John Jones was so dominant against everybody that he faced. When he fought Gustafsson, that was the first fight he had where it was a debatable win, right? And Rumble for him and was able to stop him in one round. All right. Um, and There was a big moment for him. All right. It was a huge moment, probably the best win in his career. And we saw him fight Daniel Cormier, and he got outsmarted by Daniel Cormier. He fought him twice, and I think he fought the terrible fight in the first fight. I think I have to go back and watch it, but from what I remembered, he fought Cormier and he fought Cormier's fight. I think he tried to wrestle or try to out wrestle Cormier, and he lost to a submission both times. All right. And he retired shortly after that. I think he had another fight, but he retired. And he hasn't really been healthy since then, but still very young. I think he's the late 30s. It hurts me because this guy was a superstar for a short period of time. And my favorite moment, even though that Gustafsson win was the best win in his career, my favorite moment is when they fake announced the John Jones fight between Rumble and John Jones. And they went and had a fake face off, and then they like shook hands, they laughed it off. It was just a joke. Right. Oh man, it's like one of those dream fights where it was just like, damn, I wish this fight was really going down. But when they laughed it off and showed how much love they had each other, that was just a beautiful moment for me, And I'll never forget that moment. When I heard, I saw it on Twitter earlier today, and I saw that he passed. It was just like every other person that passed, every celebrity that passed, like the like when Kobe passed away, or when Nipsey passed away, or when Michael Jackson passed away, or any other celebrity. It's like you see it, I read it, I saw it, and then I didn't believe it. I saw one person post it, and I saw a picture, and I said, oh man, I hope this is not real, but I feel like it is, you know? And I started scrolling on the timeline, and I saw that multiple people was posting it, and I was like, damn, it's true. It's so young. And whenever somebody passes and they're still really young, it makes me feel like, this is why. And this is, I know a lot of you don't know me personally, but the way I choose to live my lifestyle is, I live it. I live a I live a lifestyle where, I live it to the limits, you know. I really just don't know when it's your time. You don't know when it's your time. And what I mean by time, it don't always mean like death. I think like shit, I can get into a car accident tomorrow and I might not be able to walk again, or I might lose my vision, or my hearing, or I might become a vegetable where I might survive, but I might not be the same. I think about things like that. What if something crazy happened to me, and I'm just not able to, be myself, healthy. And when I heard that Anthony passed away today at his age, it makes me feel like, damn, yo, guys, you people, you gotta live your life. You gotta find a way to balance your your lifestyle where you want to work hard to gain whatever it is you're trying to achieve, but you also got to find a way to enjoy yourself. Because I know people that live their life saving money, and they work their ass off, right? And they're so focused on the future, so they burn away their 20s, they burn away their 30s just working hard, and then something happens unexpectedly, right? And it's like, damn, you worked so hard for something, but you didn't even really enjoy yourself. And I'm not just, I'm not saying this is Anthony's story or anything like that. It's just that the fact that he passed away so young, anytime somebody passes away, someone that I've looked up to at some point, somebody that I follow, I'll be like, damn, this is more proof of why you have to enjoy your life while it's here. It's just, you just don't know. Some people don't wake up from their sleep. Some people just fall out and die, you know, when they're not suffering from some kind of illness. It's just like that. It happens and you're gone. So please, if you are a supporter of the channel, and I go into these, at least more recently, I've been going to these 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 parts in my content where I just start talking about life. Please live your life. Whatever it is that you enjoy, make sure you do it. I have a list of things that I want to achieve in life, and experiences that I want to, you know, experience, and do your best to try to get there. I want to say most of the experiences in life that I've actually like had the privilege of living, but there's still a list of things that I want to do. There's places that I want to go, things that I want to see. Um, you just don't know when it's your time. And fortunately for Anthony, it was his time. Someone that was a freak athlete. When we talk a lot about boxing. We talk about guys like Roy Jones. We talk about Floyd Mayweather. We talk about Mike Tyson. We talk about these freakish athletic fighters. And if you're a fan of other sports, we talk about all of these athletes. And Anthony Rumble Johnson in his prime, he lost in his prime, but in his very prime, he came out the gate and he was giving us a lot of excitement, knocking guys out, right? Top tier fighters. And it's sad, because he was so young. And, I remember when he announced his retirement, I was sad because it's like, damn, man, you got so much potential to still, even with the losses to Cormier and stuff, you still got so much that you can go through and accomplish. But he felt like it was his time. But during this period, he wasn't really that healthy. And we could see now. So rest in peace to Anthony Rumble Johnson. And while you guys are here, do the things that you want to do. There are going to be people out there that's going to tell you you need to focus on this, or you need to focus on that, and you need to do this. You should do this with this, your career, your money, and this. Do what you always wanted to do. I stand by that. Um, there's a list of things that I've always wanted to do. And there's a list of things that I already accomplished. I probably accomplished like 70% of all of the things that I want to do. There's still things that I want, I've done skydiving, I've done base jumping, I've driven exotic cars, I've you know, there's things I want to say, but I'm not going to say because I don't know who's watching me right now. But I've done so many crazy things, and I'm proud of that because I know people that are way more successful than me, but they might be miserable or they might be unhappy or they might be stressed out or more depressed than me. But I've done so many things and I'm proud of it, and I will continue to do that. I don't know when my time is up, but while I'm here, I'm going to do the most that I can. All right. Make sure my family is good. I'm a big family oriented guy. I do a lot for my family. My grandmother, I have a grandmother. My grandmother's going through a lot right now. And I take care of my grandma. I help take care of my grandmother. And, I'm there. I'm always there. I'm never going to be that guy that lost a relative as close as my grandmother and say that I regret doing stuff. No, I'm there on a regular in the hospitals, taking care of her. I do everything for her, along with other members of my family. But I will never be able to say, yo, I wish I spent more time with her. No, I'm there throughout the week. Like I take care of mine, my sister, my youngest sister. I have 5 sisters. My youngest sister reached out to me today, said, hey, I'm out with my friends. She don't go out much, but I need a little cash. I was able to send it to her, and I feel good because now whatever she asks for, I give her, always give them more because I want her to experience and have a good time. Big on family. I take care of my family. And in the meantime, you got to live your life. Don't let people tell you how you should live your life. So whenever somebody dies young, it makes me like analyze like life. Like, yo, this is why the way I am, because Anthony Rumble Johnson just died at 38 years old. And this guy was at the top of the world for a little bit of time. So if you are a subscriber and supporter of this channel, make sure that you do what you have to do in life. All right. I always wanted a Porsche. I want a Porsche. I want to when I say my life is over, I want to be able to say I had a Porsche. All right. I'm a Porsche guy. I want to be able to say that I went to certain countries. Japan, I haven't been there yet. I should be going soon. Japan, New Zealand, some other countries. Italy. I want to spend a couple weeks in Italy. Do what you got to do. All right. I know that's off topic, but I love to have these real talks because I'm a real dude, man. And this is how I am off camera. And anybody that knows me can verify that. Like, I like to have these talks. All right. Some people are going to skip past this part, but all right, we 18 minutes in. Let's talk about boxing. All right. I'm sorry, guys. Damn, it's just one of those days, man. I hate when young people die, man. It just messes me up. It just messing me up, man. Especially when you see somebody that's on top of the world and they pass, you be like, damn, you know? All right, so let's talk about these fights. All right. Um, where should we start? Let's start. Let's start with AJ real quick because I want to get through that and then I want to get over, go through these fights. AJ is gonna be he's gonna be working with Roy Jones coming up. And I see that Roy Jones is gonna be working back with Chris Eubank Jr., which is good. I've I I've said this on camera several times, and I said, I wish AJ would say with Garcia. You know why? Because I saw the improvement in his last fight against Usyk. Even though it was a loss, I liked the 4 rounds he won because it, even in defeat, I can see that you improved in your skills. I wanted him to stay with Robert Garcia, right? AJ is on this thing where he wants to experiment with a lot of people and he wants to keep dipping and changing to different coaches and learning new things for each one. Listen, man, I don't know if Roy is right for him. We won't know as fans until we see AJ perform and see the differences in what he does in the ring. Um, AJ has a plan of just experimenting with different coaches, pulling information from them, and working on his craft. He says it all the time. I want to learn. I want to keep learning. Even at 31, 32 years old, he's saying in his interviews, yo, I want to keep learning. I want to keep learning. I want to keep building my craft. This is why when he lost to Usyk the first time, he was like, I'm going to go on tour in America and go to these different trainers and fill them all out. There's a lot of boxers out there that switch from trainer to trainer, but AJ is being pretty open about it and explaining his mindset. Um, I don't know how that's going to work, and I won't know until after I see him in the ring again. But what I will say is like, look, it's a gift. It could be a gift and a curse because sometimes when you work with a trainer, right, you probably need more time to work with them and build that chemistry. When you have one fight with a trainer and the outcome doesn't work in your favor, there's a possibility that you may be jumping the gun by switching the trainer again, right? But there's also a possibility that maybe that trainer isn't for you and that you want to learn more, or you want to take whatever you took or learned from that coach and move to the next one and just keep collecting information as you move on. That's what seems like AJ wants to do here. Um, is Rory a good trainer for him? I have no idea. There's no way to tell. There's no way to really know if Roy is going to be good for him. You know, like for example, Chris Eubank. I like what I've seen from him since he's been with Roy, and I want him to continue working with Roy. I wanted him to be with Roy when he was going to fight Conor Ben. He was going to be with Roy, but I'm sure whatever he learned from Roy, he can implement that in his next fight without Roy. Some of the things he learned, cool. But now he's getting back with Roy, and I like that. But the problem is with Eubank is that the people that he's been beating since he's been with Roy, I would expect him to beat. But I have seen the changes in his style since he's been with Roy. Looks like more of a watered down version of Roy Jones Jr. Now, I'm not expecting AJ to come out in his next fight and try to fight like Roy. But maybe if the chemistry is good, you never know. Maybe Roy can work on his game and AJ can evolve into that fighter that he's looking to be. All right. AJ is taking a different route than most boxers take, but you know what? If that's what he wants to do, he's a star. He's in control of his career. And if that's the position he's looking to take, I have no problems with that, man. As long as you're happy, I have no problems. That's my stance on AJ. All right. Another thing that I wanted to talk about is the since we're talking about heavyweights, let's stick to heavyweights real quick before I go and do the recap of this weekend. Philip Hrgovic. All right. The IBF is mandating Usyk to fight him. Okay. Hrgovic is now officially the mandatory for the IBF title that Usyk holds. All right. Usyk is currently holding the WBA, the IBF, and the WBO titles. All right. And the IBF, we already know that they're the most strict sanctioning body in all of boxing, and they're not playing around. I don't really blame them because with the heavyweight division, it's a mess. You know, you have fighters like Fury, who is the WBC champ. He didn't go straight from fighting Dillian White to fighting an undisputed fight. He's going to be fighting Derek Chisora. And then Usyk has come out and said like he was interested in Wilder at one point, even though he's not interested now. He was interested. He's named other fighters that he was interested. And the sanctioning body's probably like, well, listen, if you guys think that you're going to just do whatever it is that you want to do, we're going to order a fight for you because it's been a year. You've held the belt, and we are looking for you to have a fight with our ranked fighter, which is Filip Hrgovic at this time. What do I think? Well, you know what? Unless they're able to pay Hrgovic some step aside money or him to agree. Well, no, it's going to be step aside because Hrgovic, who from what I read in reports, he wants the title fight. He's going to have to get paid step aside money in order for him to fall back from this fight. I don't want to see that fight. You know, I would like to see a heavyweight undisputed match, even if the winner doesn't defend their titles. I don't care. But in a scenario that I would want, if this is true and Hrgovic is going to stand his ground and push for this fight, I would like for Usyk to vacate the title if he's going to fight Tyson Fury. All right. Don't let this mandatory derail the fight that we want. Because at the end of the day, whether it's undisputed or not, for us to know who's the top dog at the heavyweight division, we would need Usyk and Fury to fight each other. You know? And if we don't get that fight right now because of this IBF mandatory, we're gonna still have this debate on who's the best heavyweight, and I don't want it. I don't want that no more. You know, when it comes to Wilder, Fury, Usyk, and Joshua took the L. Wilder took the L. Let Usyk and Fury fight. You know, as much as I want it to be, I want that title of undisputed to be there. Right now, and I've said this in other videos, I want it to be about who's the top dog at heavyweight, because we don't know that. It's all speculation. We don't know. You know, we can say what we want about who's ducking who all day. At the end of the day, there's no way to determine who's the best at heavyweight if these top dogs don't fight each other. So in the best case scenario for me, Usyk either pay the step aside money to Hrgovic, or Usyk and Fury fight each other without the IBF title, which I'm perfectly fine with. Yeah, you won't get undisputed by title, but at the end of the day, Hrgovic ain't the top guy. It's either Fury or Usyk. Those are the top two, period. Non-debatable. Those are the top two. All right. Shout out to Mini Max, man. I see you in the chat, man. Please, yes. Pocket says smash that like button. Definitely. All right. Yeah, MAW says Usyk versus Tyson Fury, the number one to make. Winner can go after IBF later. Yeah. You know, that's if they do. But at the end of the day, in order for you to claim that you're the best at heavyweight, The top two, the 1 and 2 guys gotta fight each other. And it's that simple. I made a video not too long ago, probably like maybe 4 or 5 months back, saying basically, or maybe earlier this year, like, as much as we want people to fight each other, unification, titles, and stuff like that, as much as we want that, the fans know, the diehard fans know who's the top dog of each division, right? We don't always need undisputed. As much as we would like it, we don't always need that. At the same, like, it's like Alicia Baumgartner and Michaela Mayer. No, it wasn't an undisputed fight. It was a unification match. But we knew that the winner of that fight is probably the best. It gives us something. And I feel like when Fury and Usyk fight each other, if they fight each other and they skip out on the IBF title, the winner of the fight, we're going to know is the best guy because they survived through all of their battles to get to that point. They're both undefeated. Tony, what's up with you, man? Tony says, much respect, Boxingwave, and the chat stopped in to show support and hit that like button. Yes, please smash that like button, share the video, and subscribe to the channel. All right. But going back to that IBF heavyweight title, if Usyk doesn't fight Hrgovic, what happens is the IBF is going to order the next guy in line, which is Andy Ruiz, who is set to fight Deontay Wilder for the WBF mandatory. WBC. I said WBF. WBC mandatory. All right. Wilder and Ruiz are planning the fight. And I think that's a fight that's going to happen. But let's say that fight doesn't happen. I think the next fight in line is Hrgovic and Anthony Joshua. All right, which is a similar scenario as to Wilder. Yes, we don't really want to see a Wilder Fury 4, and we don't really want to see an AJ Usyk 3. But worst case scenario, if Hrgovic can't get Andy Ruiz, or he can't get Usyk, he can't get Andy Ruiz because he's going to be tied up with Wilder, AJ is the next guy in line to fight Philip Hrgovic for the IBF strap. That's if Usyk vacates the title. All right, so that's the way it's going to work officially. All right. All right, so let's get into the fights from this past weekend. All right, we're a half hour in. I just want to give you my reviews on the fights from the weekend. Okay, I didn't watch all of them, but I watched the major ones. Let's start out with Ricky Hatton against Marco Antonio Barrera. I didn't watch the entire fight, but I did watch a very extended highlight video on YouTube of each round. And from what I saw, it looked like Ricky Hatton, who lost a lot of weight. First of all, he had a shout out to the two legends. Ricky Hatton looked to be in great shape. For a guy that blows up in weight, I mean, he's basically obese. He looked very similar to his best days. Marco Antonio Barrera, who fought at smaller weights in his prime, naturally a smaller guy, but looked very soft and overweight fighting Ricky Hatton, was still able to give us some good moments, some good rounds. The fight wasn't officially scored because it was an exhibition, but Ricky Hatton looked like more of his younger self than Barrera did. All right. How do I feel about these fights? This is the way I look at it. And I'm going to mix all of these together. All right. Because I'm going to talk about Floyd and Deji. That was today. We're going to talk about, Fury, and I'm going to talk about Jake Paul and all of these guys. When it comes to these exhibitions, this is the way I look at it. I like when the former champions or the legends fight each other at an older age over one of them fighting like a YouTube guy. I prefer a hat and a Barrera over a Floyd against Deji. I don't know who Deji is. I never heard of him until Floyd announced that he was fighting him, right? I never heard of Logan Paul until Floyd or or these fighters. I don't these YouTube guys, I don't know who they are until they fight another celebrity that I'm familiar with or another boxer that I'm familiar with. So when Floyd fights Deji, it's like, bro, you fighting all these guys that, like, I get it. You get in the bag. If they're willing to pay you to fight a YouTube guy or an MMA guy out in Japan somewhere, it's like, I don't care. Like, I try to sit through some of the Floyd fight today, and to be honest, I couldn't sit through it. I can't watch that because Floyd comes out and he's playing around. You know why he's playing around? Because he's not fighting a real boxer. So I can't take it seriously. Now, I'm cool with Cotto almost came back to fight Marquez. The both of them was going to come back. They had a date that was like scheduled for, I think, last year at some point. I'm cool with that. I'm cool with Sugar Shane coming back and maybe fighting like, I don't know, some random dude that's also a boxer. I'm cool with that because it's like a boxer versus an old school boxer. And you guys want to get the bag. I'm cool with that. I'm cool with YouTubers fighting other YouTubers. Tommy Fury is not, and I'm going to talk about all of these fights. I'm going to talk about Floyd. I'm going to talk about Ricky Hatton's fight. I'm going to talk about Tommy Fury's fight. Who else is here? I'm going to talk about those three this weekend. I'm cool with YouTubers fighting other guys that's like not real notable names, like Jake Paul fighting Tommy Fury. When I look at Tommy Fury today, I was skimming through it because I can't sit and watch that. I tried. Tommy Fury looks like a YouTuber. Tommy Fury is a professional boxer that has a Fury name. And as I'm watching him on my TV today, I say, you know what? He is absolutely no different from Jake Paul or Deji or KSI or Logan Paul. He is the exact same thing. The only thing is he has the title of pro boxer, or he has the Fury name behind him. But when I'm watching him fight, I'm watching this guy fight, this random guy today. I don't even know his name. I'm not going to look it up. Tommy Fury has the status of an influencer. He's an influencer. He is not a real boxer to me. I'm watching this fight. I'm skimming through the highlights, right? And I'm watching him. I said, I think Jake Paul and Anderson Silva is better than this guy. I mean, listen, get the bag. Do what you got to do. All you guys I'm not dissing these guys because I understand, like, listen, if the money's there and you're going to do it, why not? But when I was watching it and then I saw John Fury take off his shirt, right? He's big and fat and old, and he's on there calling Jake Paul out. Jake Paul stand. It looked like WWE. Did anybody watch Big John Fury and not think of wrestling when they saw that today? Did anybody else think of that? Because I'm watching it and I'm like, what the hell am I watching? Now, I'm not watching it live because I didn't pay for the pay-per-view, but I'm watching it on YouTube and I've seen a million people tweet about it. And I'm saying, like, this guy took off his shirt and he's calling a guy to a ring. What do you call him in? Like, Tommy Fury's like, you better get in this ring. You better get in this ring. You better get in this ring. And I'm watching it. I'm like, yo, my man, if he gets into the ring, what exactly are you going to do? Like, for what? What are you calling him to the ring to do? What? He's standing ringside. What are we doing? Like, what is this? This is corny. But this is why I say Tommy Fury is an influencer. He's no different from a YouTube fighter. They're all the same. It's a joke. Tommy Fury, let's talk about the weight thing, right? So he goes and shows up at the weigh-in, right? And he's like 182 and his opponent makes 175, right? So his opponent's like, listen, make the deal right or I'm backing out of the fight. This is not the agreed upon weight. I made weight. Why didn't you? So Tommy Fury comes out at some point and said, listen, this is a weight that I agreed on my contract. I don't know what you have on your contract. I don't see your contract, and I'm paraphrasing. This is what I agreed on, right? He agrees on it. And I don't know what's true. I don't know if he really missed weight. He looks in great shape. He's a muscular guy. He's a fit guy, but at the end of the day, what if he's telling the truth? Let's just say Tommy Fury agreed to come in and at this fight at 182. If he agreed and he signed a piece of paper that said, yo, you come in at 182 and his opponent came in at 175, right? Let's just say what Tommy Fury is saying is true. The the matchmaker of this fight basically don't believe in you at all. You know why? Because why would they make you agree to signing a weight advantage for you against another boxer? Why would they make you sign a contract saying that you're allowed to come in at 182, but your opponent, who's basically a journeyman, comes in at 175? That means they don't believe in you, because not only are you fighting a journeyman, but they're giving you a weight advantage over your opponent. So they think you're a joke too. They don't even think you're a real fighter. And John has already exposed you and saying that you don't take this sport seriously. You know what I'm saying? Like, him saying that doesn't help his case at all, because it's like you're basically proving that they don't take you seriously. You have a Fury name and that's it. That's it. All you got is Fury. You don't got no skills. I think Jake Paul's better than him. I think Anderson Silva, who's not a quote unquote real boxer, even though he is a pro, I think Anderson Silva is better than that guy. I don't believe in that guy. I think he's a joke. And I think the whole thing that we saw today, it was a joke. Tommy Fury is a regular boxer. Oh, he'd beat me up. He definitely beat me, but he's no different from any average boxer. He's a very average guy. A guy that works on his biceps more than anything. All right. His arms don't fit the rest of his body. It's a funny looking guy, if you ask me. When it comes to Floyd Mayweather and his fight against Deji, I try to watch it, but once I saw that Floyd wasn't taking it serious, as he shouldn't, I just watched the highlights. I was like, yeah, all right, I'll watch it. And that's it. Floyd's having fun and he's getting paid. And the amount of people that is like on social media still talking about him like, yo, Floyd, why don't you fight Errol Spence? People are still bitter that he's undefeated. Now I've always said, like, Floyd got to be careful with these fights because, for a guy that retired undefeated, the last thing you would want is for you to get knocked out by some like influencer, But at the same time, it's like him being hated works for him, because even if you don't pay for the pay-per-view, the fact that you're watching his videos and still mentioning his name, it helps promote him. Floyd is a master at making people hate him in order to support him in his fights, right? I didn't do a breakdown for his fight. I didn't make any content on his fight. You know why? Because it's a mismatch. You have one of the greatest fighters of all time fighting some influencer on YouTube that I've never heard of. I don't even know what Deji does. I just listened to the fight today and I found out that he's the brother of KSI. I didn't even know who KSI was before. I don't know who these YouTubers are. It doesn't mean that they're not famous. They are famous, obviously, but I don't follow them on YouTube. I follow a bunch of car channels. I follow a bunch of hip hop channels and boxing channels. You know, Floyd has mastered the art at making people hate him in order to watch his fights, hoping that he loses. He's mastered that art and it's still working for him today. The reason why I won't support it is because Floyd is not fighting another old school boxer, retired boxer. He's fighting some guy on YouTube. Now, if they're willing to pay him to fight a YouTube guy or an MMA guy, I ain't gonna be mad at them. But at the same time, it's like I'm not gonna watch it either because Floyd is one of the greatest ever. You know, I'm not gonna watch it. You know, there's so many fights where I didn't watch of his, and then I woke up the next morning and saw that it was out. So I don't care. But I did like the Ricky Hatton, Marco Antonio Barrera fight. I liked it. I like how Ricky Hatton looks, and he probably, if he could stay in shape and stop blowing up in between fights, you know, you never know with him. Maybe he gets a fight with Marquez or Cotto, or maybe uh I don't know, some other guy. You know, maybe Eric Morales comes back. I have no idea. I have no idea what Ricky Hatton needs to do, but Ricky Hatton looks like an older version of himself today or yesterday. You know, I loved his ring walk. He came out with the walker and stuff. That was real cool. I liked it. Out of those weird fights, you know, between Tommy and Floyd, I like the Ricky Hatton fight the best one because him and Barrera actually went at it, even though I think Barrera clearly is a little bit, you know, older. He still has, or maybe a little bit not as well in great shape. I thought Hatton looked better. He looked closer to his actual self than Barrera did. Let me say that. But Barrera did win a couple rounds, in my opinion, you know, even though they didn't really officially score. All right. Charles said, why Floyd fighting him wrong, brother, though? Yeah, KSI would be a better one. You know, I seen KSI fight. He's better. Andrew said Floyd beats Canelo any day. I don't think he beats Canelo right now, but he beat him clearly when he beat him. Right now, I don't think so. All right. Floyd, just too small. And Canelo has been proved since their fight. All right. So, all right. So let's talk about the other two fights, and then we're gonna get on out of here. Let's talk about Montana Love against Stevie Spark. All right, I live tweeted through that fight. All right, I didn't do any live commentary, but let me say this, man. I'm gonna be 100%. I'm gonna keep it all the way 100 with this. You know, I like Montana Love. I like him. You know, I was watching him before the Baranchak fight, but when he stopped Baranchak, I was like, okay, he got skills and he got a little power. I like him. You know, he looks good. But in his last two fights, he was dropped. And this fight the other day, you know, everybody's talking about the way it ended, and I'm thinking about the way it went down. Montana Love, this is what pissed me off about him. You know, he's this pretty boy guy. You know, he got the little dog. He got the little Beijing in his hair, you know. And I don't care. You want to do this pretty boy thing, that's cool. That's as long as you're winning, that's all that matters. But I don't like when guys go in the ring. I feel like he invited some girls and yo, bro, the object is winning the fight. Stop trying to look cool. If you're gonna do the pretty boy thing, win the fight. At the end of the day, it's still a fight. You knuckling up, right? Somebody's trying to punch you in your face and knock you out. Stop trying to be too cool. You talking to your opponent as the fight goes on, and he's kicking your ass, right? I gave Montana love maybe the first and fourth round or something like that. I don't know, third or fourth round. But my man, stop trying to look cool. Win the fight. You fighting a good opponent, and you trying to look pretty. You talking trash. You getting your ass kicked. You get dropped. You trying to make it look like it didn't hurt. We saw you hurt, bro. Please, win the fight. Have some discipline in the ring. Stop trying to look cool. I hate when I just said this about Mickey Bay in a few videos ago. I said Mickey Bay is winning every round against John Molina Jr. And he's staring at the crowd, looking at Ellaby and Floyd like, yeah, yo, this is my time. He talking hella shit. Meanwhile, this guy lands a big punch. He gets hurt. And you looking crazy now. Now you lost the fight. Stop trying to be cool and win the fight. I don't care how you look. Win the fight. That's the only important thing. He gets knocked down in the second round. This is a problem with Montana Love. In his last two fights, he's fighting bigger guys with reach advantages over him, height advantages over them, and they're just overall bigger fighters. So I get this fact that you're going to go into the fight and you want to drown them out. You want to bring them in late and try to take over. Cool, outwork them. Cool. I get that plan. But the problem is when he got knocked down, right? He's a southpaw fighting an orthodox fighter. Now I'm watching the knockdown today, and I'm looking at it, and I'm like, all right, what caused this knockdown? So Montana Love, in this fight, he likes to keep his hands down, and he likes to lean back a lot. Now, he's not leaning back and stepping back in straight line, so that's good that he's not doing that. But when you put your backs against, once you put your back against the ropes and you're leaning back against a guy that got a longer reach to you, you're risking him, you're risking you still getting hit in the chin because you're leaning back, but you're not at a distance, you're not in a safe distance away from him. I said this about Wilder and Hellenius in their fight. Before the fight went down, I did a breakdown. I was like, listen, Hellenius is not a guy that is good at moving his head. Hellenius is a guy that likes to lean back when the punches is thrown at him, right? So it works a lot when he goes into his high guard, and you know what I'm saying? Like he's good at like blocking wide shots, but when it comes to those straight shots, like the one that Wilder landed, the short right hand, he's not good at avoiding them. So as I'm watching Montana Love, he gets clocked with two right crosses, right? I'm sorry, was it right? Yeah, it was right. He gets hit with two right crosses. He likes to lean back but keep his hands low. But he's leaning back on the move. Yes, he's moving laterally, but his back is against the ropes. There's not much distance between him and Spark. So Spark is connected, and he catches him with a right hand while doing a combination. He catches him, turns his neck, and Montana goes down. But this is what pisses me off. Montana goes down, but he's trying to be cool. Stop trying to be fucking cool. I hate that. Bro, you in a fight. You in a fight. You are the main event. I think that Montana is better than what we saw, but he feels like I'm on the zone, I'm the main event, I'm the star, and I want to look cool even though I'm losing. No, bro. You're fighting a bigger man with a bigger reach that know how to box. Stevie Spark, I never seen him before, but it didn't take long. It took by the second round, I realized like, yo, this guy can box even before the knockdown. Just the way he was doing, like he was doing a few things, like he was pivoting and rolling under the punches. I said, yo, this guy can box, but he's big, clearly. And I said, and then as the fight went on, I realized that by the fourth round, Montana Love, who was trying to drown him, started to lean and clinch and do all this shit. And I'm like, Montana Love is in trouble. I'm live tweeting as I'm watching the fight. This guy's in trouble. He's fighting a bigger man that's catching him. Now, Montana Love was getting off too, but I was like, it's not enough to get this guy off of you. And you got dropped in the last fight, and you got dropped here. And to me, I feel like Montana Love was looking for a way out. So when that whole situation went down, in whatever round that was, where they were tied up and they were wrestling each other, the ref was trying to get the fight under control, but it was out of control at that point. Montana Love, they wrestled into the ropes, didn't think anything of it, but then he put his forearm on him and pushed him over the ropes. Now, I don't think it was intentional for him to knock him over the ropes. And I don't think the fight should have been stopped because there was no injury. He flipped over the ropes. He landed on his feet. Everything was all good. But the ref stopped it. Am I mad at the disqualification? Yeah, I'm mad at it. But I'm more mad at the fact that I feel that Montana Love was looking for a way out. Even when he was cut, I can tell from his body language and the way he was talking to his doctor, because I said this on Twitter. I said the doctor came up, and I can't hear everything Love is saying, but it sounds like a guy that is looking to get out of the fight because you are talking too long to the doctor. If you're good, I'm good. I want to continue. For whatever reason, that's not what I'm reading his lips. That's not what I'm getting. It seemed like it was more of a discussion between him and the doctor. It was just too long. And it made me feel like my man didn't want to fight no more because he was losing the fight. So when that whole situation went down, I'm like, yo, I think my man wants out of this fight. So when that happened, I wasn't surprised. Now, I don't think his intent was to hurt him. I don't think he was intentionally trying to knock him over the ropes or anything like that. But I think that out of frustration, he was wrestling with a guy that was being very physical with him. He happened to go over the ropes. And then when a ref waved it off, it was like, you know what? Not for nothing. This is some bullshit. I don't want the fight to stop. But at the same time, I'm like, you just can't be doing that neither. Because what if this guy did get hurt by flipping out of the ropes and he landed wrong? Love was losing the fight. He didn't seem like he had a plan. And that was it. It was a terrible fight. But Spark beat him. All right. And Montana didn't get robbed. He lost. He got disqualified, and he was losing when he got disqualified, in my opinion. I gave Montana 2 rounds. Gave him a couple rounds, but outside of that, Spark was winning the fight. And defensively, Montana wasn't looking good. Offensively, Montana couldn't really hurt the dude. And that's all I got to really say. Listen, I was saying this about 135 the other day. 140 is not just this walk in the park. So all these guys that's moving up from 135, They got to understand, like, guys like Teofimo Lopez, you're fighting bigger, better guys. This guy Spark was no joke, clearly. And you don't keep talking and you're looking into the crowd, you're trying to be pretty. Yo, if you're winning and you're up big, even if you are winning, you're clearly winning the fight, don't let it go to your head. At the end of the day, stay disciplined, win the fight. It doesn't matter how the crowd is reacting to it. It doesn't matter if the fans don't like it. That's why I like Devin Haney, because even though as skilled and talented as he is, I don't think he's the most talented, but I like the fact that he's very disciplined. I like Sean Porter for the same reason. I never thought Sean Porter was the most talented boxer, but I believe that because he was so disciplined and staying in shape, right, and living a healthy life is part of the reason why he got to the point in his career that he gave. Two-time champion, or maybe 2 or 3-time champion, and he got to the very top, not because he was the most skilled, but because he was one of the most disciplined. And I feel like maybe, hopefully this loss to Montana Love, maybe this makes him wake up and realize, like, yo, I gotta stay disciplined. Hopefully it's just a fight, All right. So yo, Love lost a fight to me. I have no complaints about the stoppage. Oh, this is disqualification, I mean. But it is what it is. All right. All right. So last fight. Janibek fought Denzel Bentley on ESPN last night. I went back and watched it today. All right, because I watched it the other night, but I watched it very casually. I didn't think much of the fight. I was mainly watching the zone card. Janibek, what I got out of it is I don't even necessarily believe that the fight was close. I think Janibek was clearly winning. But he didn't look like the destroyer that we thought he was. Okay? Shout out to Charles. He just said something and I'm going to respond. Do me a favor, Charles, and everybody else is here. Go to my last video where I was speaking about Boo Boo and what he's going to do next in his future. What I said in that video was that when everybody was calling Boo Boo a duck, I also said I saw Zach Parker fight. He's bigger. He's at a higher weight class. He's undefeated. Stopped last 5 of his opponents. I am not sure that he's an easier fight than Janibek. But everybody's saying he was because Andre decided not to fight Janibek and moved up to 168. Now, even though I felt like Janibek was clearly one of Andre's best opponents if they had happened to fight, as good as Janibek looked up to this point, I still told you guys, and the video is up, I don't have to lie, Zach Parker is arguably just as tough of a fight, if not tougher, because of his size. Right? Now, I know Janibek looks like the boogeyman only because Munguia, Charlo, all of these guys that Janibek has been talking about guys that avoided him, yes, he looks like the boogeyman. But this fight here, he didn't look like that. He looked human. He looked good, but not like the way he's been talking. He's talked about Triple G, called him a fraud, right? He's talked about all these other fighters at 160, has turned them down and avoided him. But when he fought Denzel Bentley last night, he looked very regular. Now he clearly won the fight to me. You know, I know the scorecards. I think one was like 116, 112, or 1 and 2. I think one was a little wider. But let me say this: Janibek is a good fighter. What I had a problem with this fight is that whenever Janibek landed a big shot, it didn't put Bentley down, and Janibek just didn't follow up on anything. It's like whenever he landed something big, like a big left hand, he kind of just chilled. I was waiting for him to step it up. Not saying that he wasn't trying to knock him out, because it looked like he did, but he spent too much time trying to box a guy that he was clearly better than. Now, there's a narrative that's going around that Janibek took the fight easy because he wanted people to stop avoiding him. There's a narrative that's going around that Janibek purposely took it easy on Bentley because he want other fighters like Charlo or Munguia or Andre or Triple G to be more willing to take the fight. There's no way to prove that. Even though I think that Janibek could have had opportunities to really hurt Denzel, he did land some really powerful shots throughout the night, and he had moments where he landed some combinations that could have put other fighters away that didn't put Bentley away. Maybe Bentley overall was underrated. I think he was. But Janibek don't look like the boogeyman that we thought he was. He looked okay. Okay. I honestly said right before the fight, I was like, yo, Janibek is gonna end this dude. And I was wrong. All right. So if any apology needs to be made, I want to apologize to Denzel Bentley because I honestly didn't think he had a shot. I thought Janibek, and I didn't do a breakdown or anything or a prediction video, but I said in my mind, I was thinking Janibek was going to stop this guy within 5 rounds. But that didn't happen. I'm not going to completely like dismiss him because certain fighters do fight on the level of their opponents. And I still also believe that there's a possibility that he might have taken a night off. Or sometimes some guys are just stylistically tough for you. But from what I saw in a fight, Janibek did land the shots that would hurt other fighters, like Rob Brandt. When he landed those left hands, Rob Brandt was hurt. When he landed them left hands against Bentley, Bentley took them well. So maybe it was just the opponent. Maybe we slept on his opponent. We'll know in his next fight. But he doesn't appear to be the boogeyman that I thought he was. And I think my main argument was we don't know what Janibek is truly capable of, and we don't know what Zach Parker is truly capable of. So with that being said, the narrative that Andre ducked him to fight Zach Parker, I never agreed with that because Zach Parker win for that WBO super middleweight title would put him one step closer against Canelo, which is the goal for him at 34 years old. That was my argument. But now that Janibek looked human in this fight, everybody's expecting him to lose to everybody else at 160. Now, regardless of how he performed, I still believe that he can take it up another notch. But if you are basing his performance based on what you actually saw in a fight, which I think is the most logical way to look at it, he didn't look that good. He looked very he looked above average, but he didn't look like a boogeyman. You know, he didn't look like a boogeyman. He still looked very good, but he didn't look like a boogeyman. For a guy that talked about Triple G as if he was just some clown, it makes me wonder, like, all right, well, not for nothing, but Triple G in his prime would have smoked Janibek. Just my opinion. You know, just gotta wait and see though. Yeah, MAW says John Ryder is about to show us where Zach Parker at. Yeah, I just did the breakdown for that. Please check it out if you haven't already. That was my last video that I uploaded. I think Parker wins. I think he edges it, but John definitely has Eddie. John definitely has a style that can give Parker some trouble. But I think Parker wins. All right. Janibek does respect Triple G, but he made some comments calling him a fraud because he called his style Mexican style instead of calling it Kazakhstan style. And Janibek didn't like that. So he had an interview where he basically said that. All right. But he has respect for Triple G. It's just that he's made some comments that wasn't pro Triple G. All right. Janibek looks good still, but you never know. We just gotta wait and see more. I personally said I thought Andre should have took the fight because, yo, if everybody's saying that this guy can beat you, you should prove them wrong. And even though Janibek don't bring the kind of money that some of the people that Andre wants to fight, like Charlo or like a Triple G, it's also a fighter that people would have respected. You know, a fighter that people respect. And if you were to beat him, people would respect that win over a lot of other Andre wins. You know, I personally thought Andre would beat him regardless, and that's part of the reason why I wanted Andre to fight him. But you know, we'll see. I don't know what Andre does. I actually think that he and some other fighters that we haven't heard from in a while may be looking at what BLK Prime has to offer, especially if they're not in a contract, which Andre isn't. He's done with Matchroom, which I thought was a bad idea. I thought even though Eddie wasn't really helping with the fights. Oh man, I gotta go. I thought he should have still stayed with Eddie because Eddie was gonna give him money that he wasn't used to getting anywhere else. You know, and he had the protection of Eddie Hearn, which he didn't have when they did the purse bid with Frank Warren and Queensberry for Zach Parker. All right, guys, I'm gonna get out of here. It's late. Next video will be Regis Prograis against Jose Zepeda. That will be my next breakdown. I will be doing a breakdown on Fabio Wardley against Nathan Gorman. I have a schedule here. Dillian White against Jermaine Franklin. Chocolatito against Estrada 3. Jared Anderson against Jerry Forrest. Teofimo Lopez against Jose Pedraza. Crawford against Avenetian. Inoue against Butler. Rivera against Frank Martin. And Taylor against Catterall 2. That's what I schedule. I don't know if I'm going to do all those breakdowns, but I'm going to try. All right. So anyway, shout out to everyone that's here. Please hit that like button for me on your way out, please. I do have Regis Prograis being Jose Zepeda, but I'm going to do a breakdown anyway. But smash the like button, please. If you haven't subscribed already, please subscribe to the channel. Hit that bell notification as well. Hit me up on the social media, Instagram, Twitter, you know, email, all that. Shout out to all the supporters. Shout out to everyone that's here. MAW, Brendan, Romania Mike, Charles Edward Cheese, Bucket List Boys. Who else was in here? Eddie Morales. All right, Andrew Smith, Seven Cullinan. Everybody that's here, shout out to you. Thank you for supporting. All right. And I'll see you guys on the next one. I'm going to go get some sleep, man. Yeah, have a good night. Peace.